Hello and welcome to Maths Learning. In this video we will learn the names of the parts of the circle and how to work out the diameter, circumference and the areas of the circle, sector and segment. So let's start by naming the parts of the circle. In the middle of the circle is the centre. The edge of the circle which goes all around is called the circumference. Any part of the circumference is called an arc. A line drawn from the centre of the circle to the circumference is called the radius. A straight line drawn from one part of the circumference to another which goes through the centre is called the diameter. The diameter is twice the length of the radius, as you should be able to work out from the diagram. A straight line which does not go through the centre is called a chord. The area between two radii and the arc joining them is called either the minor sector or major sector. The area between the chord and the arc joining it is either called a minor segment or a major segment. A straight line which touches the circumference in one place is called a tangent and is perpendicular to the radius. When making calculations to do with a circle, we use an irrational number called pi. An irrational number is a number which goes on forever. Usually a calculator would be used and you would just use the pi button on the calculator. Otherwise, pi is 3.14 as an approximation. If we use the letters R for radius, D for diameter and C for circumference, then if you have the radius, to find the diameter, you would just double it. If you have the diameter, then to find the radius, you would just halve it. To work out the circumference of the circle, you would use the formula C equals pi d, which is pi times the diameter, or C equals 2 pi r, which is 2 times pi times the radius. The two formulas amount to the same thing, but one is using the radius while the other is using the diameter. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So let's do some calculations. Suppose the radius is 6 centimeters, then the diameter must be 12 centimeters, since the diameter is twice the length of the radius. Alternatively, if the diameter is 12 centimeters, then the radius must be 6 centimeters. The circumference is the distance all around the circle, which is pi times the diameter. So on the calculator, pi times 12 is 12 pi, or 37.6991184 centimeters. The area would be pi r squared, so pi times 6 squared is 36 pi, or 113.0973355 centimeters squared. You'd probably be asked to give the answer to a certain number of decimal places, and remember to give the units whether in millimeters, centimeters or meters, etc. The way to work out the area of a sector is to work out the area of a circle and find the required fraction of it that you want. For example, to find the area of a quarter of a circle, then divide the area of the circle by 4, or to find the area of half of a circle, divide the area of the circle by 2. If we do not know what the fraction is but are given an angle inside the sector, then the fraction is created by putting that angle over 360, because there are 360 degrees of rotation in a circle. So the formula for a sector would be the angle over 360 times pi r squared. So here, to find the area of this minor sector, which has an angle of 30 degrees, you would put 30 over 360 and then times it by the area of the circle, pi r squared, which equals 9.424777961 centimeters squared. To work out the area of a segment, you would have to work out the area of the sector and subtract the area of the triangle formed, which will leave you the area of the segment. So there would be some information in the question which will allow you to calculate the area of the triangle. If you have two sides of a triangle and an angle between them, then you can use the formula half AB sine C, where A and B are the lengths of the two sides of the triangle and C is the angle between them in degrees. However, in this case, A and B are of the same lengths. So here the area of the triangle is half r squared sine 30, which equals 9. So now that we know the area of the sector and the area of the triangle, we can work out the area of the segment by subtracting the area of the triangle from the area of the sector. Another way to work out the area of the segment is to combine the formula for the area of the sector minus the formula for the area of the triangle into one formula. If we take out the common factor r squared, we get this formula. Theta is the angle between the radii. The advantage of this is that you can do the calculation in one go. The disadvantage is that the formula may be harder to remember. You would have to use a different formula if the angle is in radians instead of degrees, but I will leave that for another video. When working with such calculations, it is best to use the full number in the calculations and only write the final answer to the required decimal places. This will prevent rounding errors. You could use the calculator to store the full numbers and use them when needed. In the next video on circles, we will learn about circle theorem, looking at the angles formed within the circle. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.